Hello everyone, this is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. I'm back with another video. Um, I knew the day was going to come, we were going to have to start talking about this genre of film eventually at some point on my channel. Because, the point is we're here to talk about horror films, we're here to talk about cult films. And, when I talk about cult films, we go back to the Grindhouse where we talk about all kinds of different exploitation movies. And like last week I talked about the movie The Demons. That was nunsploitation. They're all different kinds of exploitation. Of course, everybody knows like black exploitation. There's what they call Bruce exploitation, where movies that are basically meant to be like Bruce Lee type movies, with actors trying to emulate Bruce Lee and things like that. So basically, I knew eventually we are going to have to work on one of these movies, and here it is. Well, I already kind of did something like that when I talked about the movie Black Angel, but pretty much I just ranted about that movie because, like I said, nobody gives a rat's ass about a movie about Nazis falling in love. Nobody cares, okay? But what we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about the movie Fräulein Devil. This is part of the Full Moon's Grindhouse collection. This movie came out in 1977, and it is an Italian production. Now, what this falls under the genre of Nazi-ploitation. And what that is in the 70s, they started, a lot of filmmakers, particularly like Italian filmmakers, and this one here, it is pretty much an Italian production. What they wanted to do was, in the 70s, they started like really trying to push the envelope in terms of what they could show in movies in terms of sex and violence and things like that. And, I mean, that's back when you had like filmmakers kind of like, H.G. Herschel Gordon Lewis, who, they decided they wanted to get people to go see their movies. And so they figure, well, if we offer something the audience has never seen before, whether it's in terms of gore and violence or whether it's in terms of nudity or sexuality or something like that, the idea is to offer the audience something so crazy, so wild that they never think that anybody would ever make a movie like this, and that they would go see it just on the idea alone that like somebody could actually make a movie like this. And they started up this kind of subgenre of what they call Nazi exploitation. Now, I want to make it clear right off the bat, when they started doing these kind of movies, first and foremost, these were not movies that glorified Nazis. So if that's kind of a concern to anybody who ever hears about these kind of movies, rest assured, these are not movies that make Nazis look like good guys. Even though you've had some of these stories, and this one has one, you have Nazi, characters who work for the Nazis, but they start to turn and want to change their ways, and they realize like, Hitler is wrong and what they're doing is wrong, and they don't want to be a part of it and stuff like that. But even still, these movies do not glorify Nazis in any way. It kind of looks like they do, from the trailers, but you kind of realize a lot of that was just kind of a ploy to get people into the theaters to see these movies. Arguably the most, well, I think this one is, pretty well known. I think the most notable one is the movie Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. And this movie follows definitely in the vein of Ilsa. And these movies, they kind of, some of them kind of tend to have the same plot. And if you've seen Ilsa, you'll see like, resemblances to Ilsa in this movie and in other films. And basically the story is, you have this, it's during World War II, during the Nazi regime and all this. Um, and they're talking about, like, the Nazis are talking about, like, they want to get rid of, people who sorry, people who want to defy, the Fuhrer, Hitler and all this kind of stuff. And so basically what they want to do is they want to start like weeding out who the traitors are, who the, people who don't want to commit 100% to, the Nazi way of thinking and stuff like that. So what they do is they hire this woman. Basically, her name's Fräulein Kitty, and she's played by Marissa Long, which I have a picture of her right here. Just a second. And I believe she's an Italian actress, but this is her here. And so anyway, so they hire her, and her name in the movie is Fräulein Kitty. And basically, she is put in charge. And what they're going to do is they're going to get a train together, and on this train, they're going to put women who are, you know, women who basically defy the Nazis and stuff like that. And what she does is, there's a long, and a lot of these Nazi exploitation movies always had a scene like this in the beginning of the movie where, the women are, being checked up by doctors and stuff like that. So, and there was long drawn out scenes of nudity and stuff like that, and showing women getting undressed, showing them being touched and examined, and all this other kind of stuff. Lots of these movies had them. This one has it too. And Kitty, the main character here, she announces to them that what's going to end up happening is they're going to get on this train, and basically the way these women are going to repay, Hitler and the Nazis and everybody for their treason, is that they're going to lure in men that they believe are, traitors, and the women are to basically seduce them and let the men do anything they want to them. And once these women do, they do have sex with these women and stuff, then they are known as traitors and stuff like that. And then they will be prosecuted. Well, not so much prosecuted, but they will be executed for, they're turning their back on Hitler and everything else. So, they get these women, and like I said, they start bringing these, soldiers on board, and they're having these parties and things like that. And you see, like, right there, they're entertaining, and there's Kitty right there. And the women, they're basically, their whole job is to wait for these men to come pick them up, and then they go, into these private compartments on the train, and pretty much do whatever the man wants to do with them. And then when the love sessions are over, I guess, if you want to call it that, then they take the man, they stop the train, they take the soldiers that they believe to be traitors out, and they take them out and they execute them, and either leave the bodies or dispose of them, and then they get back on and they ride the train and they go looking for the next one. Then you end up having, like, here's a scene. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a scene right there where Kitty herself is seducing a young private that, you know, she knows that he's a traitor and everything, but there is a pretty, I mean, of course it's simulated, but there is a pretty explicit sex scene, and they do get into bed and they, have sex and everything else. And, even when they get done, she looks down at the guy and she's all like, it's really too bad, you would have made a great lover and all this other kind of stuff. But, she's like, she's not going to, get away from what she's supposed to do. She's gonna fulfill her duty, and basically she's very much committed to, Hitler and to the whole Nazi way of thinking. Well, it turns out that she has a lover named Franz, and the two of them, they're kind of bickering and stuff like that. They used to be lovers and everything, but you know she's kind of got, a little bit of power over him and stuff. And so he's riding on the train, and she ends up telling him to, go get one of these girls. Well, he goes and he picks this girl, and they bicker and stuff like that. And then, he insults her, and then he comes back and he asks if he can have the pleasure of her company and all this other kind of stuff. And so they have sex together, and they start to fall in love. But he comes to find out that this girl that he's falling in love with, she was one of the girls that, yeah, she defied Hitler, she defied the Nazis and everything else. And it turns out that she's working with the resistance. Now, that was always kind of a big thing in a lot of these movies, that there always seemed to be this, fighting resistance. And their whole thing was they wanted to take out the Nazis. And as a matter of fact, they pretty much, you see that in so many of these war movies from back in the day. And it was war movies, it was what else was there, these exploitation movies, even parodies. I mean, if you think about it, like, you see the exact same thing in, like, Top Secret, where they got this underground that, their whole thing is they want to stop you know they want to stop the Nazis. And they're planning like an ambush or whatever, they're planning an attack or something like that. Even, Inglorious Bastards, you could tell, took some notes from a movie like this and stuff. But what ends up happening, though, is, like, she falls in love they fall in love with each other, and he wants to save her, and Kitty is catching on. So they're trying to he go this guy Franz, he goes and he realizes he's finding the resistance and that they're going to go, and he realizes that yeah, they are going to go and attack the train, and basically he wants to go and get his girl off the train before anything can happen to her. And so but Kitty finds out, she finds out what's going on here, and so she's torturing her, and they stop the train, and so Franz gets on there. He's fighting to get her off the train and everything else. And meanwhile, there's gunfights, there's action, explosions, things like that. They're the resistance. They're fighting and killing off the Nazi soldiers and stuff like that. And turns out one of the resistance is a father, a priest, and so he's kind of telling everybody don't kill. It's all like be a good Christian, don't kill, that kind of thing. And Kitty realizes that Franz got on there. He let the girl off, and what was her name? Lisa Lett, Lisa Loet, Lisa Loet, something like that. Anyway, he lets her go, and they're trying to get away and everything, and she's injured, and he's trying to carry her, and um, you know Kitty catches up to him, and she shoots Lisa Lett down. I guess that's how Lisa Loet, something like that. Lisa Loet. I don't know how you say it. But she ends up shooting her down, and just when she's about to shoot Franz, then the father and the resistance, they come up, they shoot her. She gets wounded, but the guy's ready to take the kill shot to kill Kitty, but the father stops him, and he's all like, don't do that, just you know don't kill anybody if you really don't have to and stuff. Um, and then they go up to Franz, and they all kind of walk away, and it's kind of weird because they just leave the girl there. They leave the girl's body there, and that's where the movie ends. But yeah, these movies, a lot of them, they all kind of have the same plot, and like I said, a lot of these tended to be like Italian productions. I know there are other productions elsewhere too, but a lot of them seem to be coming from Italy. And yeah, one thing you could always be sure about, you're going to see a lot of naked women in these movies. So and that was always kind of a big thing, because you got a bunch of these movies. You got, like I said before, you had, Ilsa, She Wolf of the SS, but you had like a SS Hell Camp, The Beast Must Die. Was it SS Experiments? I think was one. Was it Last Days of the SS? You had a bunch of these movies, and they, like I said, a lot of them always kind of tended to have the same plot. And like I think it was Love Camp 7. That was the one I was thinking of. That was one of the video nasties, and in that movie, you had like two American female soldiers who were fighting in the war, and they were to go undercover, as prostitutes to satisfy the German soldiers, but they were to get information, and they were to stop the soldiers and stuff like that. And that was always kind of the thing. These movies always kind of had the same thing going through them. And it's in this movie too, but it's in a lot of the other movies. There's always scenes of the Nazis being mean and horrible and barbaric, and everything. Like I said, it does not glorify them. It does not make them, just show the back of the boxer. It does not put them in a positive light or anything. It doesn't make them look good. It makes them look like the monsters that they are, and that was always kind of the thing. I mean, these movies were, you think of movies like The Great Escape or Papillon or something like that, kind of like those kind of war movies, but just with a lot of sex and nudity and torture and gore and stuff. This one here doesn't really have a lot of blood and gore and torture and stuff in it. But this one does have a lot of explicit nudity and sex in it and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, a lot of these movies, they always kind of have the same thing going on. Or you had like you always had like a German scientist who was like conducting experiments on the Jewish girls or whatever else, and like in that movie, was it the Beast? I forgot the. Did I say The Beast Must Die? Shit, that's an Amicus movie. That's not even the same thing. I'm sorry. But anyway, though, yeah. Oh, The Beast in Heat or something. I think that's what it was called. Anyway, though, but there that was kind of a thing too. In a lot of these movies, they you know, there was always like a German scientist who was torturing the, the refugees of like a camp or something like that, or one thing that was definitely sure you saw in a lot of these movies, you always saw like, these Nazi soldiers being horrible pigs and like abusing, raping, the Jewish girls in the camps and stuff, and or they were just horn dogs, and you were just slobbering all over the beautiful like German women and stuff. And like I said, a lot of these were always Italian productions and stuff. And but you got to see a lot of naked women in these movies. And that was the thing. They sold these movies pretty well. And and the thing is, I was like, I remember when Rob Zombie did he did the trailer, Werewolf Women of the SS for Grindhouse. Um, I know some people criticize it, but in my opinion, I think he perfectly encapsulated everything about this subgenre of movies. I mean, it's all there. You got like, like in that one, you had Bill Moseley playing the scientist, and there's like, lots of these movies always had doctors and scientists who were always doing experiments and, butchering people and torturing them and shit like that. You had Sybil Danning. Sorry, I can talk, I swear. Sybil Danning and Sherry Moon Zombie. They were they were in charge of the camps and all. And it's the same thing in this one here too. You had like you got Kitty. She's in charge of the whole thing. That was always like that was always kind of like a trope in a lot of these movies, was that the one who was in charge was always a beautiful kind of buxom blonde, and she had to have like a strong appetite for torture, for strong appetite for murder, a strong appetite for sex and everything else. Just kind of really, just kind of really like, and she was into like doing some really dirty shit and stuff. So like in this one, I think it was Ilsa, She Wolf of the SS. That's where the one I think she is a she pisses on the one soldier, and this one here she makes the one soldier like lick her boots and stuff like that. So you always had that was always kind of like a thing in there, but you always kind of had like the love interest, and there was the girl who was she was kind of part of the whole thing, but she wasn't. She was kind of always like an undercover spy, and she was like trying to report on what the Nazis were doing. And they, like I said, there was always this underground resistance and stuff. So these movies always kind of had like their little like I said, they're tropes. They're always these kind of things that you knew when you were watching one of these kind of movies. Sorry, one of the neighbor dogs. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, those like these movies always ended the same way. The resistance or whatever would come and fight the Nazis. Nazis would be taken out. Sometimes and sometimes the female commandant or whatever you want to call her, she would get killed. Sometimes she didn't. I think in this case, the reason why she didn't, I don't know. Maybe they plan to do a sequel to this at some point. If they did, I don't know anything about it. I never found when I was looking it up. I never found anything about it. But yeah, I mean, just you kind of know what you're getting into with these kind of movies when you start watching these. But like I said, they don't glorify the Nazis. They always make the Nazis out to be monsters. Even the ones that and they always got their comeuppance in the end. Even the ones that like were like yes, I thought this was going to be a good thing, but I don't like this and I don't want to be a part of these Nazis and stuff. Even they would get they would be punished in some form or another in the end. So these were it wasn't like these movies were immoral. They were to an extent, but I mean in terms of showing the torture and the sex and the nudity and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, but I think if you start watching these movies, I don't think I mean, you probably might get somebody give you some shit for it, but at the end of the day, it's like you could really, if they're willing to listen, you can easily sit there and explain to them like, hey, I'm not into these movies, to see glorified Nazis. They still get their comeuppance and stuff, but it was a way to see, these movies did sell in theaters though, in drive-ins and grindhouses. These movies made money because it's like they made a bunch of these, and it's like it was a good way if you wanted to see a ton of beautiful naked women, and yeah, I hope you don't mind your women full frontal and all that kind of stuff. But it was a way to see that. It was a way to see gore, special effects, and everything else, torture, things like that. So sometimes some some of the movies, the gore and stuff was done pretty well. Some of it, no, the gore and special effects were really not convincing at all. But so anyway, so yeah, I would say, if you're feeling brave and you want to, kind of start looking into this subgenre of films, this would be a good one to start with. Easily the best one you could ever check out would be Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, but this one would do you. And I'm actually surprised because I heard that, because this is the Full Moon Grindhouse collection and it comes from Full Moon, well, right there, Full Moon. But yeah, I mean, I've always heard that the picture quality on these were absolutely horrible and stuff like that. So I watched this, all like, it's definitely not Blu-ray quality. And sure shit ain't gonna be 4K. I am just having the worst time talking tonight, aren't I? 4K quality, but still, even this looked a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I've gotten a couple of those like double feature, supposed to be kind of like grindhouse type DVDs and stuff with, some of those movies on where the picture quality is absolutely horrible. You can't see anything on those. You don't know what's going on. But anyway, though, yeah, I would say, if you come across this and if this was a subgenre of film you were interested in, I say give it a shot. Like I say, if you're anti-Nazi, you can still enjoy these movies because, like I said, these don't glorify the Nazis. The Nazis are always still the bad guys in these movies. They do get their comeuppance. They get taken out. Um, but if you're pro-Nazi, then get the fuck off my channel. First of all, no, seriously, get the fuck off my channel. I don't like Nazis. But anyway, if you are that sort of thing, then yeah, you're not gonna like these kind of movies because you're gonna see Nazis get taken out and stuff. Which you know, like I said, I think obviously, like even movies like this, I think you watch something like this, you could see a little bit of, you could see where like they got stuff like Top Secret from, or you could see a little bit of where Tarantino got some inspiration for Inglorious Bastards, things like that in this movie. So, but I say yeah, if you're interested, like you want to feel brave, you want to start checking into this subgenre of movies, I said go ahead. It's harmless enough. It's like like I said, yeah, if you want nudity, these movies. Oh yeah, that's one thing I will grant you that if you want nudity, these movies definitely come that way. So anyway, that's gonna pretty much do it. I think I've said everything I needed to say about that. Like I said, it is what it is. It's a certain subgenre of movies that I figured we were gonna go around to talking about on this channel sooner or later. So that's about it. Yeah, we talked about Fräulein Devil. So if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry for screwing up all the words. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm having brain farts tonight. I can't talk. I must be tired. But like I said, hopefully you really did enjoy the video, and I hope that you did. And if you did, please like and subscribe. I do all kinds of videos for my channel. I'm doing I do movie reviews. I'm doing shelf by shelves. I do video hauls. I do I'm trying to come up with I want to start talking about doing some theme weeks and stuff like that for my channel, and just stuff that'd be a lot of fun. Hopefully, give you guys some really good, fun entertainment to watch, and even though it's not really the kind of stuff like like your parents or your wife or girlfriend, or especially the minister at your local church would be wanting you to watch, but I think we could have some fun and everything else, and just enjoy talking about some naughty movies and things like that. So anyway, though, I need to stop because I'm rambling now. But yeah, thank you everybody. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and again, thank you one last time for watching this video. Have a good night. Take care. I'll see you later.